but they tried to go to Hodson in the corner. It backfired, and now Wapahani with 17 seconds will gladly sit back. And as you mentioned, probably 12 seconds get it started.
I think so. I think they got to go right now. There they go.
Trey Spence for Luce, open three. Luce beats the buzzer. But a quick steal with a second left. Can't finish it off. Oh, what an ending that would have been for Trey Spence. But they hit the buzzer beater three. Both teams have a three-pointer to end a quarter today. And what a shot by Drew Luce.
Tremendous job by Luce knocking in, but again, great job of distributing the basketball by Spence. Both these players are outstanding.
34-30 after three quarters on Ninestar Films and the ISC Sports Network.
A working mom who brings her best to both roles. A community-owned telecom that connects her home with high-bandwidth fiber optic. Mom can work from home with fast, reliable connectivity and be there when the kids come home. When everyone logs on, the internet connections stay fast and the family stays connected. Ninestar Connect. Community-owned. Community strong.
Neither Wapahani or Frankton have led by more than 5 points, but what a swing at the end of that third quarter. A beautiful pass from Trey Spence to Drew Luce. A buzzer-beating three from the left wing, and almost another buzzer beater on a layup from Trey Spence, but just could not finish that off, but a 4-point lead for Wapahani heading into the last 8 minutes.
Wapahani takes the lead because they've got great guard play between Luce, Roush, and Spence, and those three continue to play like this. They're going to get a victory tonight, but don't count Frankton out. They are doing a great job spreading the basketball, getting good looks throughout the course of the night.
Bates, a spinorama on the baseline, left it short. It went off glass. The rebound rattled around a couple times. It's still on the ground. Sliding forward is Roush like a baseball player in the third. And Brobston passes along. It goes out at the sideline into the hands of Ray Copton. And there will be an inbound on the sideline.
And now, Brendan, this game is becoming difficult to watch because it's speed up. It's difficult to officiate. Let me point out about the officials. I think IHSA officials are fantastic. I think, even though I may have mentioned earlier about one of the calls, about 99% they're correct. They are fantastic. And if you want to do something close to basketball, be an official.
Over and back on Frankton, and Wapahani gets the ball back, Mike, to possibly grab their largest lead of the night.
And again, the defensive pressure is very important for Wapahani. Didn't have so much in the first half, but they finally started stepping it in. And now the offensive pressure between these guards really causes problems between Luce and Spence. That's a dynamic duo out there.
Spence almost hit that second buzzer beater on a layup, but it rattled just around the rim and out. Just could not get the roll. Solid possession all along to end that third quarter for Wapahani, and they have a pretty good one right now.
Coach Brobston and the Frankton fans probably are familiar with Colin Kenny, who's now playing college basketball at Furman. Well, I'll tell you what, Spence looks a lot like Kenny. He handles the ball, he's got that quickness, and he's got the jump shot.
Frankton called the timeout after that ball came loose, so Brent Brobston wants to chat things over. Maybe before things get a little out of hand, you want to keep this where you can. Again, both teams have led by 5 at 1 point, but Wapahani seems to have the momentum at least right now.
And it's kind of interesting. He called timeout here. You know, his team had the ball in the front court. They are down by 4, but they had the ball in the front court. It looks like they're about ready to break it down. But he knows his team extremely well. And I tell you what, his staff makes a difference. This is why this ball club is so good. They are so efficient on the offensive end, and he does not allow them to make mistakes. And that is a critical piece of winning championships.
34-30, Wapahani leads Frankton. As mentioned, Wapahani has yet to score less than 61 points this year. Well, for the first time, it's not going to happen. We anticipated a low-scoring game. We have gotten a low-scoring game, but at the same time, you know, we saw over 150 points scored in the first game, but this has been really, really, really fun to watch. Not that the first one wasn't, but this has been something else.
I would agree. Both teams have really played extremely well. Now, Coach Brobson did say that he'd like his team to limit turnovers to 8 or less this year because I think he feels that Wapahani's a pretty good rebounding team. And if he can limit those turnovers, he'll have a chance. And that's why it's important for Wapahani right now in this ball game to really ramp up this defense.
Well, Frankton averages over 17 turnovers a game, and they've done a good job of at least holding on to the ball a good majority of their possessions tonight. Bounce pass on the baseline, up and in, but it won't count.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. The travel was called there on Bates as he took an extra step towards the hole. And again, as I said before, these high school basketball officials are outstanding. Take a look at this one. Yep, he stepped forward. That's his travel. Took the extra step off his pivot foot. And Wapahani has the ball. And look what they're doing right now. Coach Luce has them spread out.
A similar setup to what Frankton likes to do.
This makes it awfully difficult because these guards handle the ball so well. And it's hard to double them up because when they do, they can deliver it to somebody else.
Luce defended by, Spence defended by Bates. And Bates fouled Trey Spence.
Wow, that's a tough call there. A little bit of contact. I think that was Zach Davenport there. 32 stepped in late.
I think that's a 50-50 call.
Yep.
And Spence back to the line where he misses his first. Spence, so over 75% from the line now.
The Wapahani Raiders. In fact, there are 2 Raiders in this tournament here today. Shenandoah also the Raiders.
What a rebound by Wapahani there, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Spence free briefly. Now a long 2 that was too strong.
And there's going to be an over-the-top foul on Wapahani. 22, Braxton Davis, I think. Well, maybe they have a foul on Frankton clearing out.
I believe Castor went down as well. I don't know who the foul was on, though.
It is on 22. They did catch Braxton Davis at the end of the play. He reached over the top. Not quite sure why he did that. Got a little bit out of control there.
So Davis will take a seat, and Henderson comes back in. He was kind of our guy we talked about possibly being an X factor. And if he can grab some boards here for Wapahani and help them down the stretch just like that, that can be very helpful to securing the W.
Schuert's free throw miss is huge, again, because in this ball game, you're not going to have a lot of looks at the foul line if you're Frankton, and certainly not a lot of shots. The possessions are going to be limited.
5.5 to go. This has been a battle as Luce goes up and was fouled.
Well, one of the things that Wapahani's done real well off the zone is they found the gaps. I mean, the guards, almost every possession have found gaps right there. Got by number 32, Zach Davenport, and got a nice look.
Luce, the lefty, connects on the first. 71% from the line for the head coach's son.
The good news about basketball, every game takes kind of a different life by itself, and every possession, every play. So whatever happens here, whoever wins this ball game, it really doesn't matter because both ball clubs will have learned something from it, and ultimately they're all playing for a state title or, in this case, a conference championship or even a sectional championship with these two teams meeting each other later on in the year.
A choppy first couple minutes of this fourth quarter as Bates fouled there. A 6-point lead now for Wapahani is their largest of the night on either side. Bates tried to spin move, and while Spence was throwing the arms up, he made contact with him. So Bates at the line, a fellow lefty, and he connects on his first free throw. Back to 5.
Ethan Bates, another good-looking basketball player at 6 foot, averaging almost 18 points a game, and much like his counterparts, he goes to the boards well, averaging 5.3 rebounds a game.
2-possession game.
And this is a game where I think it's right now in Wapahani's hands, and it'll boil down to how effective their guards can be and free throw shooting.
A stop here would do a lot, Mike.
Yep. For Wapahani, they'd love to, if I'm them, I'd love to whittle that scoreboard, that clock down to about 2 minutes.
Rouse, a beautiful pass. Winds up with Luce.
That was
His
a tough
floater.
shot.
Yeah, a little too long. Scooped up by Bates. Here he comes on his way in. An easy finish.
That was a tough shot because the ball bounced out high enough for Frankton to get numbers, and they're smart enough to make a run at the basket.
Bates, a smart guy, 6-foot junior. Back within 2. It's Luce again, defended by Davenport. Luce carried that pivot foot.
Jacob Davenport is guarding Drew Luce there, number 12. Some very interesting matchups here. Spence being hounded by Bates here. Let's watch this one.
Spence to the corner for Luce, a 3, little too short. But off the hands of Frankton, will stay with Wapahani.
Wow. Great activity inside for Brobston. 24 for Frankton, and 32 Blake Castor. They battled on the boards there before the ball was knocked out of bounds.
Castor has done a lot for them, especially on the inside. What a carry by Spence. And a little right-hand touch.
Sweet touch, absolutely sweet. He's got a really nice soft touch, especially in traffic. He's not afraid.
38-34 Wapahani. Down to the last 3.5 of regulation. Brendan King with Mike Walensky. Glad to have you with us for the end of this one. It's tipped by Lucy. Throws a tackle on Bates, who needs some help up.
Frankton very fortunate, being very careless with the basketball there. Almost threw it away.
We'll see what Frankton does. A 3 would get them back within just a point.
The way things are going, it looks to me that they're trying to get the ball in Brobson's hands, 24. But Henderson doing a great job taking that option away in this ball game for Wapahani.
He's done a lot for them inside, and now Brobson has to sneak out to the three-point line. Again, a place he doesn't shoot often. But he's going to take one. Brobston's 3 is bricked and rebounded by Luce.
And again, for Frankton, not a lot of full-court pressure, just allowing Wapahani to come down and slow down this basketball game.
What a first step by Spence, and he finishes. It was that first step that made the difference, and he went barreling into the paint for 2, 40-34.
I don't know what else you say other than the fact that Spence is an absolute handful, and you've got to double him up. You can't let him go one-on-one.
Brobston tries to do it himself. He floats it. And it's going to go the other way.
There may have been some contact inside, but they let it go.
And now you kind of get the sense Wapahani is starting to take this one away.
There was a shot inside, and the ball knocked out of bounds. And they say that Brobston knocked the ball over the top as it goes out of bounds. And this is a big timeout for Wapahani, because I think Frankton's probably going to run some pressure here at full court, which they haven't done most of the game.
I think the message is clear on the Wapahani side of what you need to do to go win this game. But on the Frankton side, what does Brent Brobson need to tell his team to overcome this 6-point deficit with limited time?
Well, number one, they can't let the guards control the basketball game. So maybe what you do, as I just mentioned, you run full court pressure. If you don't do that, you got to find a way to double Spence. He is just absolutely controlling this game right now, giving them the 6-point lead. There's a very nice shot. That extra step, that first step, that quickness he has is just exceptional in this matchup. May not be down the road, but tonight he's the guy.
2:23 to go from Bankers Life Fieldhouse, the really big basketball holiday show. It has been the Trey Spence Show on Ninestar Films and the ISC Sports Network. He has had some dazzling plays.
He's been amazing. He's been good in traffic, too, as I mentioned. He's very confident about himself. Nice soft touch. Now, what's interesting about this basketball game, we haven't seen a lot of perimeter shooting. Not a lot of threes have gone down, so that can cut a deficit down, as we know, very quickly with a 6-point Wapahani lead. And Frankton decides to come back and sit back in this zone defense, it looks like.
Let's see how much time Wapahani wants to take off the clock. Obviously, they'd like to bleed it out, but are they going to be rushed?
Well, I do applaud Frankton and Coach Brobson for running this zone. You got to change things up. They run from the man-to-man to zone. Got to change things up against this Wapahani team and not let these guards get into the paint.
Spence patiently waiting as the clock ticks to 150. Spence to the right hand. He's fouled.
What a great play by Spence. A little hesitation move. Cleared Brobson out, allowed him that just an extra step there. Let's watch this one. Dribbling with the left hand. There's a hesitation right there. And Brobson backs up, and he sweeps right through and draws a foul. What a great play by this youngster, number 3, Trey Spence, a senior 6 foot. He is magnificent.
And he's back to the line. Last time he was here, he missed both. He misses another 3 in a row. That's been the only thing that he struggled with over this second half.
And he's opened the door.
Bates leaves off, quickly put up by Castor, who finishes at 4-point game.
Great job of Bates breaking down the defense. Wapahani kind of went to sleep a little bit down there on the baseline.
90 seconds to go from Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Almost stolen by Castor. Davis gets it to the wing for Spence, and Spence is fouled again this time by Jacob Davenport.
I think that's a good call. Jacob Davenport was surprised that the whistle blew, but there was some contact. And frankly, for Frankton, that's a good foul because it stops the clock at a minute 20. And Spence, as great as he is as a player, has missed so many free throws in this ball game. But the great players, when the game's on the line, usually convert.
He's missed 3 in a row. And that one rattles in.
I just love his touch. It's just beautiful. Great fingertip control, great wrist control by this youngster. He is a pure shooter, but a great basketball player. It's beyond just scoring.
42-36 Wapahani. 6-point game, a minute 20 to go. And Frankton, something they probably don't like to do is being rushed. But they're going to have to create in a hurry, and another steal.
Great hands by Roush. Roush did a great job of getting right in the passing lane. There just was a lot of bodies in there for Wapahani. That's a big steal. Trying to close this one out with 109.
A successful trip to the line may do just that. It's going to be Evan Roush, a different look at the free throw line compared to the last few minutes where it's mainly been Trey Spence.
This could become a 3-possession game and really cause some concern for Frankton.
Roush, though, statistically shoots better from the line than Trey Spence does. 86%, a fellow senior.
Wow.
But he misses. Let's see what Frankton tries to do. It's Sheward carrying, Sheward to the right. Corner 3 for Davenport connects.
Great job by Davenport. Set his feet behind the line to get a 3. And then the youngster Sheward found him in the corner.
This is far from over. Here's the press for Frankton. Can Wapahani break it? They get it to the corner, but right there to defend is Castor. Foul. Clock stopped at 44.5.
Blake Castor is a junior at 6'2". These are huge free throw or free throws right now. I think he's got 2. I think we've got a double bonus.
Yes, you do.
Wow. How many free throws have they missed now in a row? 5?
Spence made that 1. So I think they've missed 5 of the last 6.
Wow. They make at least 2 of them, the ball game's over.
Frankton has the ball back, 42-39. Davenport.
Henderson got popped in the face. He was down on the court for a minute and then ran down the court. They had numbers. Frankton had numbers. It's 5-on-4, and they call timeout as Henderson recovered.
Timeout on the floor, 42-39 Wapahani, 36 seconds left. What do we got in the huddles right now?
I think for Frankton, get the ball inside. Don't look for the three-point shot. Get the ball inside, draw a foul. They're not a really good perimeter shooting team, at least at this point in the season, although we did see number 20, Jacob Davenport, just drain a 3. Yeah. But I think they're better off getting the ball inside, and if I'm Frankton and Coach Brobston, maybe I set up some sort of play for Aiden Brobston, but use Ethan Bates as an option. Get the ball in Bates' hands. He's a very difficult player to handle, much like his counterpart Trey Spence. They can do that. They can get to the foul line, stop the clock, maybe knock down 2 free throws, and we've got ourselves even a closer ball game than we have right now.
Also to note, that was Jacob Davenport's first 3-point attempt this year. Not just make, attempt. What a time to take it.
It was beautiful, and he stepped back too. He exactly knew where he was. He saw the blue high school 3-point line, and he took about a half step or a full step back and just drained it. Beautiful shot.
Wapahani breaks the huddle first. They're in the black and red. Frankton, the white and red. Should be a fun ending with 36 and a half or so seconds. Fouls are 10-1. How about that too, Mike?
That's pretty amazing in this basketball game. Again, I think Frankton can move the basketball and look for Brobson inside. There it was.
And went off of Roush. The inbound will come in front of the Frankton bench. They need to find somebody to take the inbound. Give me Ryan Smith. 29 seconds left.
One thing for Wapahani, at least on that last possession, the inside guys were switching and almost cost them there as Castor switched with Henderson.
It's Brobston. Brobston, open 3 for the tie.
Oh!
He got it.
How do you like that? Henderson fell back. Let him take the shot.
42 all. 10 seconds left. Wapahani a chance to win it. Timeout on the floor. And what a big shot from Aiden Brobston.
Incredible, because early on, a couple shots Brobston had, they weren't very comfortable, but that time he just let it fly.
They invited him to come up to the 3-point line like they were bringing him in his house. Come on in.
I think the biggest change.
Have yourself a beverage.
The biggest change I'd love to have a beverage right now. The biggest change for Frankton and Wapahani is the fact that in the last 2 or 3 possessions, Wapahani's missed countless free throws, and then the other thing is they just haven't been able to get the ball in their guards' hands for whatever reason. And the guards, for the most part, have been dominating the game. And I look at the scoreboard, I think to myself, how in the world can Frankton be tied with Wapahani? It's amazing.
It is amazing. Wapahani 7-1, Frankton 3-3. But interestingly, 3-0 away from home. This would be considered a neutral win, but would be 4-0 away from home total. But Wapahani has a chance to win it. 9.9 seconds on the clock. It is 42 all between Frankton and Wapahani at the really big basketball holiday show. Trey Spence has the ball. Into the lane, Trey Spence is fouled. He'll go to the line to potentially put Wapahani up.
You had to figure that they would get Spence the ball in his hands. He's a tremendous basketball player. One-on-one with Luke Seward. Had a little bit of help from Aiden Brobson coming up from that weak side there as you take a look at it. But Seward picks up the foul, but this young man, Spence, he has missed a whole lot of foul shots. He's got to convert here.
They have missed 5 of their last 6.
Oh, my goodness. It's just one of those games for him. Nothing seems to fall.
This free throw would still be a potential game winner. 4.9 seconds on the clock.
Wow. Nothing but net that time.
Wapahani leads by 1. And now Frankton will have a chance to win it.
I'm surprised Wapahani goes to the bench, sends out Davis, is pretty tall. Thought they might want some size on the wings here.
Seward quickly got it to the sideline. Timeout is called. 2.8 seconds on the clock. With that amount of time, with the guys you have, if you're Coach Brobson, what are you drawing up?
Well, there's still plenty of time with 2.8 seconds to distribute the ball and reverse it somewhere. And I still think that his son, Aiden Brobson, is the best choice, wherever they choose to have him. And it depends where they throw the basketball in, but I think somehow they set some screens for Brobston. But at the same time, if I'm Wapahani, I'm going to play zone. Don't play man-to-man. If they play man-to-man, I think that gives Frankton a better chance to break down their defense. That's just a thought. Don't know if that will happen, but frankly, Franklin has a chance, as we see, to win the basketball game.
And what an ending it would be to the really big basketball holiday show. It's been a very fun day. And this has been a perfect nightcap.
Wow.
A battle, a 12-round classic fight.
The coaches have done a great job calling timeouts, settling their teams down, controlling tempo, changing defenses, running great plays. It's been exceptional.
Referees calling both teams back on the floor. They did put some time on the clock, 3.2 seconds. The inbound will come in front of the scorer's table. It'll be made by Sheward. Sheward's pass will go under the basket. It's going to go to Brobston. Brobston puts one up for the win. No good. Wapahani wins. Brobston just couldn't get the roll.
I tell you, I thought Franklin would have a shot and get the ball somehow, some way to Brobston.
What a pass.
It was beautiful. It was right on the money, went right over the top of Luce. And look at that, right in the hole and out, and Franklin thought they had their 4th victory of the season. And unfortunately, Aiden goes down to his knees, and the Eagles have come up with a loss. But I tell you what, both ball clubs played tremendous basketball. And for Franklin to be in this basketball game, hats off to Coach Brobston, his ball club, but Coach Luce's ball club. They knocked down free throws. They got a clear path to victory. But this one, wow, right down to the wire.
Both of these teams will remember this one. This is going to be a special game for both clubs. And as you mentioned, it doesn't really matter the outcome of this game.
No, it doesn't. It's a great teaching experience for both these ball clubs. And I've thought about this for high school basketball, high school football. This is the classroom. These are classroom experiences. The real tests, the final exams, the semester exams are the sectionals. That's when it all matters. But right now, it's all great learning experiences, winning and losing. And for both these ball clubs, hats off to them. They played exceptionally well here in the latter part of December.
43-42 the final. It almost ended in very dramatic fashion. Aiden Brobson just could not get the roll on that floater. What a pass, though, from Luke Sheward. But a free throw from Trey Spence is the game-winning point. My name is Brendan King. For Mike Walensky, my broadcast partner, thanks so much for being with us. From Bankers Life Fieldhouse, this has been the Really Big Basketball Holiday Show from Ninestar Films and the ISC Sports Network.